Hey everybody, Shadow Phoenix here. Welcome back to Planet Coaster. It is Tuesday, and that means it's time for Whitaker Lake, or the Challenge Park series, depends on how you refer to it. So the name of the park is actually Whitaker Lake. The name of the series is my Challenge Park series, because we are doing this in a challenge mode. And, basically we're kind of trying to simulate a actual park and how it runs. Talked about this many times before, no reason to really go into it again. So we are in year 18 now, and for year 18 I decided, it's time for a Boomerang coaster. These things aren't expensive really for parks to put in. They weren't really for the time. They're a small footprint, and I thought this would be great. We just came off a huge new water park that was added to the park last year in year 17, and for year 18, hey, it's a coaster, kinda. Alright, these things actually were pretty exciting back in the day though. Like when they first started coming out, lots of people loved them. They just got kind of blown out of proportion, kind of like a Beyonce song, I guess. It's just when you see it or hear it so often, you just kind of get tired of it, which is what's kind of happening today, and that's why we're seeing most of these being removed in most parks. Lots of smaller parks still have them though. And Whitaker Lake is kind of a small park. They can't afford like huge, big things, so that's what I decided to do for this one. And the reason I put it over here is actually twofold. So I had the idea that we wanted to add a boomerang. That was a master plan. And then I had this haunted house that we made a few episodes ago, which is just not bringing in visitors. In fact, nothing back here is bringing in visitors. They only stay up front. They're only going to ride like all the stuff up front, mostly the racer and my Thunderation recreation. Thunderation recreation, huh? I like how that sounds together. But yeah, that's the two things that they mostly ride. Also, the antique cars, they do seem to like the antique cars and the log flume a little bit too, but the log flume has lost popularity compared to the other rides. Antique cars though, they do love those and kitty cat rides, but we don't have any kitty cat rides in the park. We only have the antique cars. So that is one reason why I put this back here, is to try to get a little bit more traffic back in here. I thought maybe if we can add a coaster with a decent prestige back here, maybe people will start coming back here and riding some of the other stuff. Like the Top Spin, the Insanity Ride, the Haunted House, for example. I kind of thought maybe if I could get people back here, maybe they would get on the Haunted House, because I spent a whole lot of time on that, and it's a very beautiful facade. But the interior, I still have not finished. I probably will never finish the interior in that thing, to be honest. I have gone back into this park a few times and like touched up a few things and fixed a few things, but didn't really do it. The other reason I decided to put the Boomerang back here in the back of the park was because I'm actually trying to expand the park around the lake and to go all the way around the lake. And you can see there I've kind of started the pathing from our racer midway going around here. So this is the kind of beginning to that. And then we're going to expand on the other side and kind of have them meet in the middle eventually. That's the idea. So let's talk about what we're doing. The Boomerang coaster, very easy to build. Didn't have much trouble with that. There's no real layout designs you have to think about. Of course, as I typically do, I added the double loop into it to make it a little more exciting. Again, I do realize, I'm not a dummy, I know that there are no double looped Boomerang coasters, but it's just something that I personally like to do. It makes the track layout look a little cooler, adds a little more prestige and a little more excitement to the ride, and I kind of like it. I also make it slightly taller than what they're supposed to be too, so it's like a super rang. It's a super Boomerang, a super rang. Actually, I might trademark that. So the next thing I'm doing here is I decided to do a custom sign, and I kind of had this cool idea. Since it's next to the haunted house, let's continue this kind of dark theme, and we're going to call it Raven. So I painted the track kind of this black and purple. We painted the cars just in as well, and we've got our sign just about done for those. I don't know why we're looking at the Top Spin and everything else down through here right now at the moment, but there we go. So I put down a piece of black billboard and then did the letters and stuff on that. Once that was gone, I took out the black billboard And then I'm going to now highlight the actual pieces of the lettering with a black outline. I think I went with a black outline. Yeah, I did, because I had the middle part of the R there to deal with. So, yep, there you see. So you kind of get an idea of how I do the lettering and stuff now. It's not perfect, but it did work out for this particular coaster. One thing I kind of wanted to do was, I was like, can we do a picture of a actual raven? Can we do a face of a raven and maybe have the V in raven kind of be like its beak? And I was like, can we do that? That might actually work out. So once I get done with, basically highlighting the lettering here with the black behind the actual fonts and stuff, that we're going to attach it to a building. That's what I'm doing right there. Move it around. That way, once we do that, we can actually move it around wherever we want, and it's actually its own building. Makes it very easy to kind of work with. So then we kind of do the station here a little bit, or at least the queue line. And I kind of thought, let's give it like, not a haunted house, but let's give it at least an arch entrance. And I really liked that particular kind of like roof right there for that as well. For the actual ride station itself, it had to be big because of the way that we did the queue line. So I had to make it quite large. And, it worked. I was okay with it. I think eventually, I don't even know if I do it in this episode or not, but what I eventually did was went in and put stone pillars underneath of it and made it a very stone and wooden structure. Kind of a, I guess, a cemetery type of theme, or an old house kind of theme. I don't really particularly know what I was doing with it, but I don't know. It looked cool. It seemed to fit the theme. Very simple, very basic, which is what these coasters are meant to be. So my next thing here that I will be working on is, let's see, is this, do I add the queue line in there? No, I don't think I do. I go back here and I think, yeah, I was like, can we redo this anyway? Yeah, so we just kind of keep adding on to our queue line a little bit here to the entrance. And I was like, let's add these things onto the sides and kind of put them together and kind of make it kind of wing out. That's not really a term. That's what I'm going to say it is, though. It's my term that I come up with for this. And again, I mean, what more can I honestly say about a ride like this? I mean, it is what it is. It's a Boomerang coaster. It's put in simple, I tried to make it a little cool, I really like the lettering there, actually. The lettering was really, really nice. It wasn't... What I ended up doing when I do it here in a minute, and you'll see me start kind of working on it, was adding the raven face to it, like the top head of a raven. That is where I think I kind of lost what I was kind of trying to get. It didn't really come out the way I wanted it to. However, everybody that was watching me build it in my Twitch stream really loved it. Like, they were like, oh, no, that looks cool. You should definitely keep it. And I was like, I really don't know. I'm just not... I don't like it. And everybody else was like, no, definitely keep it. It looks great. So I'm going to let you guys be the judge of that when you see it here at the end. You tell me what you think. I personally think we should just take it off and just do the lettering like it is. But, I don't know. I decided to just go ahead and leave the actual head of the raven on there because that's what it is. And I'm talking a whole lot about something that you guys haven't actually seen me even build yet, because I'm still kind of working on the entrance here. Trying to make this kind of fit in a little bit and kind of make it look decent. Because I had the wings and stuff kind of come out from the winged roofs, I guess I should say. They're not wings, but what I like to do a lot with my coasters, this helps with the prestige, and prestige helps with ridership. So I decided to take and put these... I don't use like the fencing that actually come with the pass. A lot of people are like, why don't you just use the fencing that's on the pass, automatically? You can go in there and select it and it gives you fence. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. I just don't like to use it. And the reason I don't like to use it is because when you add your own fencing to it, it actually gives you your own it adds to the scenery rating, which adds to the prestige. So that's a good thing, and we kind of want to keep that in there. So that's why I decided, you know, I'm going to I do this on pretty much every ride that I make. So yeah, so that's, like I said, that's kind of why I do that. Every little piece of scenery that you add to any type of coaster, especially to the queue lines and stuff like that, is just another step towards that prestige rating, getting that higher, and getting the people to actually come in and actually ride it. So what you're seeing me now do is, let's start work on the actual Raven face that I decided to put in here. Somebody had the idea, why not put a light in the eye and have it kind of shine? So I was like, yeah, maybe that could work. So I tried that, and to be honest, that's one of the reasons I kind of actually ended up keeping the actual face on the sign. I wasn't happy with the actual look of it, but I don't know, something about the lights kind of shining out of the eyes just kind of worked for me. So yeah, I went with that route. So the first thing I did here was kind of the eyes. I basically Google searched a logo for a Raven, and I found a couple of them. You know, there's a lot of logos out there. There's like the Baltimore Ravens and a bunch of other stuff. So I was able to find quite a few different images and stuff, and I found one that I was like, yeah, maybe we can try to recreate something like that. And as you can see, putting it together was just like, this is kind of weird looking. I don't really know if I like this. And then on top of its head, I tried to make like these little like feather areas here. And yeah, I don't know. It just kind of, it made him look kind of too spiky, and I don't know. I just really don't really care for the Raven on top of it, but everybody else loved it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe we are our own worst critics after all, right? So again, I will just, you know, say it. If do you guys like the Raven face on top of the sign, or, you know, should it go? Should we just keep just the sign that says Raven and maybe do something else on it? It might be something I might kind of go back and kind of fix on the actual park. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, there's not much else I can really kind of talk about in this episode. I honestly really don't have anything else I can even discuss. I decided to turn the V in the middle of Raven to a yellow to kind of make it look like it's the actual beak of the bird. Again, not quite sure on that. There was just a lot of stuff on this as I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if it's what I want. It also, building this, like I said, the whole reason I put it back here was to kind of get more people to kind of come back to this area. And you do see some people getting on the ride and stuff, but it just never filled up the line like it was supposed to. It's very varied. Still not a whole lot of people come back to the back of the park, so it didn't even do its job, and the whole reason why I put it back here. But again, it is year 18 of the park. We are in like the early 90s, mid 90s, right around this part. And that's about the time when these boomerangs started kind of popping up in different parks and stuff everywhere. So I felt it was just a good addition to the park. To kind of highlight the coaster, I threw a couple of spotlights on it. I changed them to a few different colors. I tried some different colors, and just, I don't really know what kind of colors to go with. But I tried a few different ones. I ended up settling with like maybe a dark purple, and then kind of like lowering the actual feature of it and trying that out. I also tried some different stuff with the actual lights of the bird's eyes as well, to try to get things to kind of match up in there. Did I end up going with these? I can't remember. Yeah, I ended up going with these for the eyes instead of the ones that I had in there, because I was using those other ones and they were just a bit too strong. So I went with these, and I even tried to maybe like put a fairy tale light in there. These little like fluorescent lights or whatever they're, you know, the LED bulbs light. I don't know what they are. They call them fairy tale lights in a game, but they're more like string lights. I tried these lights. These weren't working for me. I don't know. Maybe I ended up just keeping the spotlight lights. I wasn't sure. I'm fairly certain we kept the other lights, the ones we started out with, I'm thinking is what we actually ended up going with. And it works. Yeah, not happy with it, but it works. Just fixed the lighting up around on this a little bit, and I pretty much caught it a day after that. I didn't even finish the station on this because I just went ahead and played out the rest of the year to move on to the rest of it, because I was just like, yeah, that kind of works. That's good enough. I did try a tower on top of that, but yeah, I was like, no. Tried towers on the sides. Didn't really care for those either. It just really wasn't giving me the vibe. So I had a plan when I started to build this, but the whole plan just kind of fell apart when I actually had it built, and it was just like, yeah, this just isn't coming out to what I had in my mind. Which happens a lot with Planet Coaster. A lot of times I can actually just keep building on something until I make it exactly the way I want it, and I'm really happy with it. In this particular case, I wasn't happy with how it came out. So this is one of my most lackluster designs, and I guess probably not the greatest episode to have for, you know, whatever episode we're on. I don't even know what number we're on this, because the numbers of the episodes don't line up with the number of years. All I know is that we're on year 17. I know that for a fact. No, I'm sorry, 18. Apparently I don't know that for a fact, because we're actually on year 18. How many times have I said year 17 in the video? I'm not sure. But this is year 18. Alright, so yeah, that's going to do it. We are almost here at the end. I'm just going to do a few more finishing touches, and we will jump into a little showcase of the area and the finished product and everything, and kind of what we have here. The finished product, the showcase video at the end here, will have some stuff in it that actually is not built yet. So, you know, you guys will kind of get a glimpse into the future a little here of what the actual construction is. But I'm sure by now, most of you who have followed this series have probably already downloaded the park and actually looked around in it and seen what all the stuff I had. If you downloaded it previous to maybe about a month ago, you may want to check it out again, because I did go back and like fix a bunch of stuff and re-upload it with a newer version. So same park, if you haven't downloaded it, just you may need to like grab an update or something. I also added some fog effects too. I kind of wanted kind of like a mist. That kind of come out well. I did like the fog effects. That worked. But yeah. Alright, I'm out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow with another video. Until then, well, I'm not even going to say it because it does it in my outro anyway. See you later, guys. Hey everyone, if you'd like to help support me and my channel, I have a Patreon page where you can do just that. You can pledge anything from $1 or more. Anyone who pledges $15 or more gets a unique, specially designed roller coaster and Planet Coaster made just for them. My little way of saying thanks. You can also just send donations as well if you don't want to join Patreon. And you can find those links in the video description below. Every tiny red cent I make from these means the world to me and is extremely helpful. If you're interested in my PC setup that I work with and play on that you see here, every piece of the system is described below with links to Amazon if you want to purchase them or anything else. Thanks for tuning in to my videos and my channel. If you aren't already a subscriber, click that on the screen below. And you can also check out a few of my other videos on the screen here as well. You can keep up to date on what's going on in my own little world via Twitter or watch me stream live on Twitch as well. Links are in the video description below. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night.